A little tour of my garden in spring 2026. This area here had previously been a fir bed, and you can see the stumps of some of the very large trees. Had to take those all down and have planted out with some different shrubs and a few other little features. It'll be a little bit easier to manage and gets a bit more light into the garden. And the trees still here, trimmed back each year. Although it's hard landscaped, there's still weeding. The weeds do develop. You still have to pick them out. And this is the greenhouse where we have a table and chairs, and we can get a little bit of protection from the wind, with a little bit of heat from the sun, so it can be quite warm in there. We don't usually need additional heating. And then this shelter that I built 10 years ago after I retired, and we added windows into the original, and it's nice and cosy. We've got a couple of heaters in there. Yeah, rhododendrons are in full bloom at the moment, but the blooms will fall very quick. They don't last very long. And my hot tub's up there at the moment. I'm just draining that at present, and I'll be cleaning it and filling it up again. And the rockery I basically took apart nearly a year and a half ago, thereabouts, and stripped it right back, and I started again from scratch and put in some pots. Really the whole area was rockery before, but I've limited the area for the rockery and put some pots and some other features around about. Now the wisteria is just coming to bloom. I just hope we don't get a late frost, because it looks like we're going to have a stunning display along this trellis this year. So fingers crossed we don't have a hard frost and kill it off. I'm not going to take you into my hut because it's always a mess. And then over to the vegetable patch. I'm going to have to trim the rosemary back quite significantly this year. It's really taking over. So yes, I'll be trimming that back to what, about 20% of what it is at the moment. And then I've got, you see some bay leaves behind there still stretching skyward to get the light. And over here I'm just growing some spring onions, some potatoes, rhubarb, and a few strawberries. And the camellia has just started losing its blossoms, so that's another job, to pick up the blossoms. Camellia flowers nice and early, but it does leave a bit of a mess when the blossoms fall off. And then round to the front. And the grass, well, it looks not too bad, but if you look closely it is a bit thin in places, largely because I've scarified and taken a lot of moss off. I've put seed down, but this is never ending because it's north facing. The moss gathers over the winter. You spend all spring getting rid of the moss, planting new seed for grass. Just when it gets perfect, by the end of the summer, starts all over again, and you're back to moss for the winter.